You come across a guard shack, and a lone guard comes out.
I want to cast Fireball at the guard shack.
Wait, what? You want to do what?
I want to cast Fireball at the guard shack.
Wait, hold on, don't do that. I want to see if I can convince them that drinking my blood can cure loneliness.
And then can I cast Fireball at the guard shack? Okay.
Yeah. Hi everybody, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
Today we're gonna cast Fireball at your house.
Nope, we're going to be talking about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but this time about the Wiza.
Yeah.
Who can, in fact, cast Fireball at your house.
I'm a wizard, a wizard.
Now, let's just talk a little bit about what the Wizard is. The Wizard is a arcane caster. You only have an allotted number of spells that you know, and then an allotted number of spells that you can prep. And you have to prep those spells multiple times if you want to cast them multiple times.
Yeah.
So if you want to cast Magic Missile 3 times in a day, you have to prep it multiple times, which is...
it's a constraint.
It's a constraint, but there's a lot of benefit to being a wizard.
Yep.
So let's go into what we do know, and then we'll go into a little bit of the speculation behind how the wizard casts their spells.
Yes.
So we know that the number of spell slots is going to be equal to how clerics have it, which is every even level you gain an additional spell at your highest level, and every odd level you gain 2 spells of the next level.
Yes.
Past that, you're also going to gain 1 additional spell slot per level, so first, second, third, fourth, whatever levels you have available, that are constrained to your specific chosen arcane school.
Right, yes. So it's a slot that you have to fill with your chosen school of magic. So if you are an illusionist, then you have to put an illusion spell in those slots, which super makes sense. Like, I don't understand how you can pick something like illusionist and then only use enchanting spells. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and what's interesting is it looks like they're also going away from the opposite schooling. So previously, if you chose an arcane school like evocation, you would then lose out on, like, say, divination as your, like, you would have negatives, or you couldn't.
Not that you couldn't cast them, right? But it would be more difficult, or they'd be less effective.
I think I can't remember.
Sure.
But for some reason I remember that there was either a limited number of those spells, or you couldn't cast them at all. Which I like that they're getting away from that. But you're going to have an item called an arcane focus. Every wizard has an arcane focus.
Sure.
If you are of any other school other than the Universalist, the Arcane Focus allows you to recast a spell that you've already cast that day for free.
Right.
So if you cast Fireball and then you cast a couple other spells and you're like, I really need another Fireball, you can use your Arcane Focus to do that.
Sure.
Now, from Pathfinder over to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, they have gotten rid of 0-level spells.
Yes.
And they have changed them to cantrips, which is the same terminology that is used in 5th Edition, which is, here's a group of spells that you can cast an unlimited number of times per day. Congratulations. Difference in Pathfinder 2nd Edition is that they will act as if it were always your highest level spell.
Yes. It seems that the trend here is that things scale. Like nothing just slowly becomes useless the better of a character which it makes sense, right? Like, yeah, 5th edition has the ability to cast lower level spells at higher level slots, and that's great, but the cantrips are just kind of left in the dust. The cantrips are just, I'm literally out of spell slots. I need to use cantrips exclusively for damage now. And you just, and some cantrips obviously, like Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, which are specific to
specific,
warlocks.
like, this is the mechanic for the warlock, is this specific cantrip. Then it's, given the ability to grow over time. But other spells just don't. They just sit there and stagnate. And I don't think it's ever fun to give someone a tool that becomes less useful over time. Like, how is that enjoyable? Like, video games, when they give you a tool that you can only use in one dungeon in that one specific place, and then every other place in the world it's completely useless, and then you're just like, this is dumb. Like,
you mean the game that gives you, like, lock-picking tools, and then they're like, by the way, you need a key for this? And you're like, F you, game.
But I can pick locks, though.
They've kind of have this system that things are going to scale as you go up.
Yeah.
Speaking of scaling. So with the spell slots, gaining 1 and 2 per level, right? that caps us out at 18.
It does.
So at 19th level, your spell casting is going to be ranked up to legendary.
That's awesome. We actually talked about that briefly in the cleric video. And back then we didn't really know what it meant, but now
we still have
literally no idea what it means.
Electricity should from my finger. Nail.
Now with casting spells, it's a little bit different. Previously, you would have a list of prerequisites to be able to cast. You know, you had to have verbal, somatic, and material components, and you could cast that spell. Well, now it's kind of a varying requirement.
Yeah.
So some spells may only require a verbal, while some spells require verbal and somatic. Now, the interesting thing of this is that it's not only just variable of what the prerequisites are, but you as a player can choose to add additional pieces to it. So you can, with Magic Missile.
Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
You can cast it just normally, verbal, and get 1 missile. You can cast it with hand motion, somatic as well, and add a 2nd missile. And then you can add material by spending gold on items and add a 3rd missile.
Which raises so many questions.
Yes.
Like, it's insane. So there's another spell, Heal, that functions similarly but in a much more unique way. So if you just use somatic components, which is a touch attack that heals the person for X amount, you can use somatic and verbal, which is 30-foot range and heals a single target for X amount. Or you can use somatic, verbal, and material, which is a 30-foot aura that heals everybody in that aura for slightly less than the other 2 methods of casting the spell. Now, in the description, or as they were talking about that example spell, they mentioned this is particularly useful if one person needs a lot of healing. You can just use heal 3 times on them, or you can heal them a lot in 1 turn. Very heavily implying that you can just be like, somatic heal, somatic heal, somatic heal, instead of somatic, material, verbal, cast heal once in an aura. That opens up so much room to change the way that casters work as a whole. And I think maybe it has to do with the fact that they have less spell slots overall, and they're trying to give more versatility per cast because they're not going to be able to cast every turn anymore, at least not until high levels, right? It's going to be a lot more, that economy is going to be a lot more strict as far as spell slots are concerned.
And the thing that I'm worried about this whole thing is that wizards or casters as a whole usually take a longer time on their turn as a whole because they have a lot larger of a pool of things to do.
Right.
Totally did. You asked me if I wanted any equipment before this adventure, and I said no. But I need material components for all my spells, so I cast Mordenkainen's Faithful Watchdog.
You know, like, yes, monks can knock someone down, they can hit someone, they can use key points to do everything, but it's not nearly as large of a pool as a caster.
Not even close.
I think that not only adding, hey, here's a large pool of choices, but you can then also cut that large pool into subsections of things that you can do in that turn.
No, I get that. And I think that super has some merit. When a wizard's going to cast a spell, it's going to take them a lot longer to do so, or to, describe what they're doing. Like, okay, instead of just, I'm gonna cast Magic Missile on that guy, they're gonna say, well, I'm gonna use verbal and somatic components to cast Magic Missile on that guy, and then I'm also going to use my material components to cast this other spell on this other target. Oh, but I'm gonna cast that at a higher level, and so in order to do that, you add these, and it just becomes this like math problem, which I think, given the player base of D&D, some people are gonna get super into that, and like, trying to figure out exactly what combinations of spells lead to the best math problem.
Well, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit, is Heighten, which is something we haven't talked about yet. Heighten is when you choose a spell and cast it at a higher level slot.
Right.
Now, for Magic Missile, if you choose to cast Magic Missile a spell slot 2 higher, so it goes from 1st to 3rd, it gives you an additional missile per component that you use.
Right.
So if you...
So you go from 1 missile for verbal to 2, and then you go from 3 missiles for using all 3 components to 6.
Yeah, exactly. All the way up to 15 missiles at level 19, which is insane.
Yeah.
Still not a horrible amount of damage for 9th level spell, but it's, again, scaling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and D&D kind of has something like that. Like, for example, with Eldritch Blast, when you get into higher levels, you get an additional bolt.
Yeah, but Eldritch Blast is super unique.
Yeah.
Like, can you think of any other spell that works that way in D&D? Or any other mechanic.
I mean,
as far as spells are concerned.
Magic Missile, every level it goes up.
Yeah, but all of the cast at a higher level things in D&D are 1 level increments. There's nothing that says you have to, because like
I think it's primarily just Warlock.
I've never seen anything outside of that specific example that does anything except for just every level you go up past the level that is base, you add X.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm sure it does exist.
Maybe it does.
And if
I don't
it does,
think so, to be honest.
If it does,
okay.
I want you guys down in the comments and let us know what it is.
Oh, you want to end the episode?
Oh, you like that?
That's good.
While you guys are down in the comments letting us know how wrong we are, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and get that exclusive bell icon. If you hit it, we'll stop the goblins from attacking your house tonight.
We are messing with your house really badly. I'm sorry. All I wanted to do was talk about D&D.
You guys can also go over and hit us up on Twitter and talk to us over there. You can hit me up at IndigoQT.
You can get me at CrewQT on Twitter. If you look at my 3rd tweet, it's going to shock you. It's a clickbait thing.
Yeah, I get it. You can also get us both together at _QueueTimes, and you can get us on Instagram at QueueTimes.
There you go.
At QueueTimes.
You're so close.
I know, so close to being a good one. Until next time, everyone. Bye.
We've been GameGorgon.